So we're going to start off by searing 4 chicken legs. So let's throw a good glug of cooking oil in a cast iron skillet over medium-high heat. And throw the legs in skin side down. Flip them over when they get a little bit of color. Next up, I'm going to use a mandolin to thinly slice some onions. Throw those into the skillet, but it's probably best to remove the chicken so that the onions can cook a little bit more evenly. Let those guys get a little bit of color on them. Next, chop up a bunch of parsley and stir it on in. Using the back of a knife or a spoon, you can peel some ginger, and then we're going to grate about 2 centimeters. And do the same with some fresh turmeric. And dump those right in. Add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, one of these little jars of saffron threads. And once the onions are looking translucent, let's throw the chicken back in. Top it up with 2 liters of water and cover it up. We're gonna let this go until the chicken is fully cooked. About 45 minutes should be good. Once the time is up, let's pull out our chicken legs, which should look like they're falling off the bone at this point. And then we're going to fish out the onions and vegetables and set those aside for later. Crack 6 eggs into a bowl and whisk them. And into that cooking liquid from the chicken and onions, we're going to add our eggs. You may want to use less water than this, but we want to cook these down until the eggs are basically dry. You don't want any runny eggs for this because it'll mess with the assembly of the pastry. And now that our chicken has cooled down enough to handle, let's take the time to shred it into small morsels. Now into another skillet, let's throw a little bit of cooking oil, as well as a 1/4 cup of almonds, and get some color on both sides of these. Throw them into a food processor, along with the zest of about half an orange should do, about a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and a tablespoon of powdered sugar. And blend that until it turns into a rough sand-like consistency, like this. Now we're going to work on the pastry. Go ahead and butter up a vessel that is about the right size for a small pie. Now let's butter one side of 1 sheet of phyllo dough. Gently flip it over and stick it to another sheet of phyllo dough and pat it down gently. Again, gently, we're going to spread this out and drape it around our vessel so that it forms to the sides. And then we're going to do the same thing with another 2 sheets of phyllo dough. You could probably glue these ones together with some more butter as well, but it doesn't matter too much. Now we're going to fill it on up. Take the chicken and layer that. And then we're going to go in with the onions and make sure it's a full layer covering the entirety of the chicken. Follow it up with the eggs. Be sure to crumble them up and spread them out smoothly so that it fills up the entire bottom of our pan. And then in with our almond cinnamon sand. Not too much of this, maybe 1/2 centimeter thick. Now we're going to fold all our corners in, and we can butter them in order to stick them together so that they hold in place. Be very gentle because this stuff tends to crack, especially as it starts drying out. And if you've got any extra overhang, feel free to trim it down to size. Gently flip it over into a larger pan. Brush a little butter on so it'll crisp up a little better. And then we're going to throw it in a medium-high oven for about 20 minutes or so. Now let's sift some cinnamon on top. Do the same with powdered sugar, just a thin layer, and we're good. So I haven't had this in about 10 years, and it's my first time making it. Definitely looks the part. Man, it is this unique blend of sweet and savory ingredients. You've got the orange and cinnamon and sugar and pastry, and then you've got the chicken and onions and eggs and parsley, and they just, somehow they work together. Lives in that gray area between dinner and dessert. So I definitely recommend that you try making this if you've got the time or the patience or the energy. It's definitely worth trying. And if you want to see more international cooking videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button. See you next time. Cheers.